You tell yourself you need to stop overthinking, but no matter how aware you are, you still replay these conversations. You're always second guessing your decisions and think about things long after they've passed. And this is not because you can't control your mind, it's because something inside of you does not feel safe. Welcome back to my channel, Self-Love Lexi. If you're new here, I'm a self-love coach. I teach women how to love themselves unconditionally through subconscious mind rewiring, nervous system healing, and identity transformation. I'm super excited about this topic because overthinking was something I struggled with a lot as a child, and I still have moments where I'm overthinking, but they go away like that because the amount of inner work I've done and the systems I have in place to just kind of get rid of those negative thoughts. Before we get into this, I did want to let all of you know that I have some slots opened for Self-Love at the Root. What this is a 12-week program where we literally dive so deep into your self-love. I have 10 core pillars I'm going to bring you through, from emotional safety, which is the nervous system regulation, all the way to detachment. In Self-Love at the Root includes couple bonuses, which is incredible. If you're like, okay, Alexis, I need to know how to get on this, you can go to the link of my bio. It'll be my stand store. You can scroll down to Self-Love at the Root, and if the spots are open, it'll say this. If there's a wait list, you can just join the wait list. We will also have a free call to make sure that we are the right fit for each other. On top of this, I have my lovely ladies group chat for free on Instagram where you can join. This group chat is amazing. It has a bunch of cool resources, but I also have my exclusive group chat called Inner Circle. This is when you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, dive deep into healing and self-love. I also have bi-weekly calls with the Inner Circle as well, and you get to meet with these beautiful like-minded women who are also investing in themselves. Okay, now let's get into this video. First things first, I want to share my story with overthinking so you can really see the difference. I started off overthinking about absolutely everything. I was one of the worst people to be in a relationship with because every time they said something, I wouldn't believe them. I remember one time I was dating this guy in high school and he had told me, "Your eyes are so beautiful." And I was like, shut up. I was so bad to be in a relationship with, so bad to be friends with, because I would overthink literally everything. Somebody would look at me a certain way and I'd make up a whole scenario in my head of why they were looking at me this way. They probably hated me. They're gonna go and talk badly about me to their friends. It was just honestly horrible. And I could see the frustration people around me were experiencing. Imagine how it was like being in my own head. So not only was I an extremist with overthinking, I was such a huge people pleaser. Imagine this combo. I literally needed and felt like I needed everybody to like me. But at the same time, I always thought that everybody hated me because I was constantly overthinking about everything. It was honestly so exhausting, and I can only imagine how exhausting it was for everybody else around me to experience that as well. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I never overthink at all, but the drastic difference is honestly insane. And I see myself as somebody who doesn't overthink. Like, if I'm overthinking, it's probably once a month, and I can very easily snap back out of it because the amount of tools I've picked up. I have a lot of inner work that I've done around overthinking because I realized how drastically it was literally ruining my life. I really felt like I couldn't interact with people. I couldn't have a normal conversation because as we were talking, I'm in my head thinking, do they like me? Oh my God, do they like me? What's wrong with me? It was so bad. So here are some tips that really helped my mindset to go from where I was to where I am now. First one, you are most likely stuck either thinking in the past or the future. So thinking about the past looks like rumination. For me, I used to ruminate all the time. Wow, do they not like me? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And in the future, for example, if I was gonna go hang out with a friend or a new person or anything like this, I'd be like, oh my God, what if I say this wrong? And I would always be in my head. Another one that I think was huge for me, and I think a lot of people would relate to, is I would always rehearse what I was gonna say before ordering something, before talking to somebody. So I had to realize that thinking in the past looked like depression and thinking in the future looked like anxiety. Now you might think we only have the past or the future. What are we gonna think about? The present, right now. Every single time, this is something I do to this day, every single time I find myself ruminating or overthinking, I will ground myself in the present moment and bring me back to now. I will get more into later how to actually do this because I have so many tips and tricks with this. My second mindset shift is overthinking is delusion, but in a negative lens. You see all these creators saying be delusional, and I'm 100% for that because I think the reality you live in is the reality you create in your own head. For an example, I remember one time my mother and I were at the beach and I was reading to both of us. And we looked out on the water and we see a guy who was sitting on the rocks staring into the lake. And I remember thinking, wow, he's probably having such a beautiful experience right now. He's probably so calm. And in the same moment, we're looking at the same person. My mom's inner dialogue was, wow, he must be so depressed right now. And we both were experiencing the emotions of looking at the guy. I was experiencing happy. I was happy for him. She was experiencing sadness because she was sad for him. We were looking at the same person sitting at the same spot, but we had different inner worlds. And so we experienced that moment differently. That's why delusion isn't actually delusion. It's the world that you perceive yourself to be in. And overthinking is the negative side of delusion. I was so delusional when I was a child. Like I would step into stores, step into restaurants, step into malls, and every single person who looked at me, I was like, they're judging me. They hate me. They're making fun of me. They're texting the group chat about how ugly I was. It was the other side of delusion. It was such a negative lens that I viewed myself in, and so I always thought that other people were viewing me in such a horrible way. This is how I stopped overthinking. First, I gained confidence in myself. Every single time, every single moment that I was really overthinking is because I lacked self-confidence. I'd walk into a room and think, oh my gosh, everyone's judging me. Why? Because I was judging me. But as soon as I really started to gain such self-love, I didn't assume anything about anybody. And if I were to assume something, it was, they think I look so good right now. And that mindset just genuinely changed my life. Second thing, I would be so aware of my thoughts. Especially in the beginning when I was trying to switch from overthinker to super confident, I was hyper aware of what I was thinking. Notice that the majority of times I was overthinking was after a conversation with somebody. I would always be in my head like, do they like me? Did I say something weird? I would get such a hot face even thinking about it because I would always get so embarrassed over the tiniest things that I did. I'd overthink if I was laughing weird, like it was just intense. So this is what I did. Every single time I'd have those thoughts, I would catch it. I would catch it in mid-time and I'd reframe to something neutral. They aren't even thinking about me. They literally didn't even notice. They had no clue I did that. They had no clue I said that. And once that became my normal way of thinking, because by the way, if you want to change your thoughts, repetition is your best friend. Literally your best friend. Every single time you have a negative thought, nope, switch, nope, switch. And over time, that negative thought is going to be switched into the new thought, just naturally. After a long period of time, the thought was neutral. I did some more inner work and I changed the thought to positive. So anytime I had an interaction with somebody, I'd be like, wow, they love talking to me. They felt so good after talking to me. They felt so energized. They are so inspired. After I did even more inner work, I completely shifted the focus off of me and how they perceived me. It was how I perceived them. How did I feel after talking to them? Do I feel good in my body? Do I feel drained? Do I even like this person? Because it literally shifts the blame, anything off of you, and it allows you to really be in your body. It allows you to see how you actually feel with that person, which is so helpful. Now, every time I catch myself overthinking, I create safety in my body. So if you've never created safety in your body, you might not understand what I mean by this. A lot of us, a lot of times, are living in our head. We are functioning from the logical standpoint, and we're always in our head thinking. That's why people who struggle with overthinking have a very hard time creating. But what I will do is I will get in a quiet space, I will close my eyes, and I will focus on my breath. I'm so sorry if you can hear people in the background. I can't tell if you can or not, but if you can, just keep focusing on my words, girl. I live with my family, so they're gonna hear everything, and you're probably gonna hear what they're talking about too. So what I would do is take a few deep breaths and bring my awareness to some point in my body. My favorite point is my heart or my womb space. And if you're like, how do I bring my awareness? Don't think about an elephant. You're gonna think about an elephant. Think about your shoulder. That is what awareness is. It's bringing attention to in your mind's eye. So you're going to bring attention to your heart and you're going to breathe in and out from your heart. It's going to relax your body, relax your mind, relax your nervous system. That is creating safety within yourself. After this, I focus on something I can control. Because a lot of times when you're anxious about something, it is over something that you have absolutely no control over. So I will actually give you an example of what happened to me yesterday. So for a very brief moment, I was in my room and I was reading my book. And I kept thinking about the future, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work out? And so what I did in that moment was I created safety within my body. So I focused on my breath, and then I focused on the present moment, because again, future is anxiety and past is depression. So while I'm reading, I look around my room and I see the book in front of me, and I see my water bottle, and I drink some water, and I start to feel grateful that I have fresh water to drink, and that I'm in a comfy bed in a comfy room with sheets over me and fresh water to drink and a cool ass book to read. And immediately my thoughts go from so anxious, overthinking, what if this doesn't work out? What if this doesn't happen? To wow, look how much I have to be grateful for. Life is incredible. I love life. And after I came into that state of gratitude and almost neutrality, I started to think about the same thing that I was thinking about before in a positive lens. I was no longer thinking about my future in a hectic, what if this doesn't happen? I was thinking about it, and of course it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. I have so much faith and trust that it's gonna happen. This is what I would advise you to do in uncertainty. When you don't know what's going on, it's a little different than overthinking. You're in the moment where you actually have no clue what to do, what's happening, anything. This is what I would do. Stop thinking about the outcome you wouldn't want to happen. Stop. A lot of the times we do this because we want to prepare ourselves. It is not helping. Where you put your attention to, energy flows. And every single time you're like, what if this doesn't happen? What if this works out poorly? Anything, you are putting energy towards that outcome. And like I said before, anytime you are uncertain, anytime you're overthinking, bring yourself to a state of calmness. Create safety in your body in that moment. Whether this is from deep breaths, like for me, I create safety by taking a lot of deep breaths, which can heal your nervous system as well and put you in a state of rest and digest. You can do EFT tapping, which also is super helpful. And you can just be in the present and look around you right now. Another thing, a bonus tip that I do is I hug myself. When I'm uncertain of how my life is gonna go, I don't know the next step to take, I don't know what to do, I will sit there and just hug myself for a second. Next, final step, know what you want. In uncertainty, there's always what you don't want and what you do want. One, focus on what you do want, but also bring the emotion of already having experienced it. For example, if you don't have a job right now and you are uncertain about how you're going to pay the bills, it can be a really scary experience. But unfortunately, focusing on the downside of, oh my gosh, what if I can't pay my bills? What if I lose the house? Is doing absolutely nothing for you. It is not helping you whatsoever. What to do in this scenario, in this situation, is to calm your body, get yourself in a relaxed state, be in the present, focus on the good, and feel the good now. Feel how you'd want to feel. You probably don't want to feel stressed out. You probably don't want to feel fear. You want to feel freedom. You want to feel security. And you can create those emotions in your body now. And that's how to do it. I hope you love this video as much as I love creating it. Like and follow for more. Love yourself as much as I love you. Mwah.